Hello everyone and welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Rattan, and this is the Blue Collar Wine Show where I try to help you spend your wine dollars wisely. I also try to help you to expand your palate, and that is what this program is all about. And once you know it, it's raining today. I had many opportunities to do this episode when it was sunny outside, and it just happens to be raining today. It's been beautiful though. And I know a lot of you are gravitating at this point, as we get closer and closer to summer, you're going to be gravitating towards white wines. And unfortunately, and I say unfortunately not in a bad way, but unfortunately a lot of you, and maybe you're guilty, stick with Pinot Grigio, or you stick with Sauvignon Blanc, or you stick with Chardonnay. Those are your go-to wines. It's amazing to me, really amazing to me, how long Pinot Grigio has kind of hung on and really been tenacious in its sales. And I've said it many times, I think the reason you guys drink Pinot Grigio on a regular basis is because it's a safe bet. You know what you're going to get. And that's the problem with the wine world. A lot of us are afraid to spend our money on new things because we don't know what we're going to get. We're a little bit nervous about what we're going to buy because we're not familiar with it. You know, that's why fast food restaurants do so well, because people go there, they know what they're going to get. Before I get started, I'm really excited about the Seahawks. Seahawks bucket out. They did a good job in the draft. They got some really good picks, beefed up the offensive and defensive line, got another Lockett for their team, good slot receiver. They got Jimmy Graham, of course. Very excited about the upcoming football season. I think they're going to go to Super Bowl again. Anyway, back to the whites. What we're going to try now is Albarino. And this is the wine of Galicia in Spain. It's up in the northwest part of Spain, right above Portugal. And Albarino is a mainstay in Spain, but I know a lot of folks here in the United States have not tried it. Have you ever tried an Albarino? Let me know in your comments if you've tried one that you really like. All of these are new to me. I have never tried them before. I'm excited to try them. They're all from Rias Baixas, which is the region, the DOP of Spain, where they're at. And they'll run under $20, which is exciting. And Rias Baixas is a little cooler. They have a lot of inlets coming in. It's not the hottest part of Spain. They get a lot of rain up there. And so what you get is whites with a little bit more acidity and minerality. And they're all from the Salnés Valley, which is one of the main areas that they grow Albarino up in Rias Baixas. Rias Baixas. So I'm excited to try these. Let's get started right off the bat. We're going to go with the Conde de Albarino, as I said, Rias Baixas. And this rolls in at $15, and it's from the Salnés Valley. There you go. Little picture of that. Honestly, I think Torrontés from Argentina, some more people are showing interest in that. I don't know if you've tried a Torrontés. Verdicchio out of Italy, I get some hits on that one. But generally speaking, people stick to what they know. They stick to Pinot Grigio, they stick to Chardonnay, they stick to Sauvignon Blanc. Vino Verde is really getting a foothold too. A very reasonably priced white from Portugal, and it sometimes has some frizzante to it. People really like it. But Torrontés from Argentina is starting to take a foothold a little bit in my store. Verdicchio, not so much. Vermentino, not so much. But people are they try to expand their palates. I know I did a tasting 3 weeks ago, and we started with a Pinot Blanc from Steel Wines, and man, people just went nuts. Also, the Aligote that Shooting Star Jed does from Steel did really well. So when people try it, they tend to really like it, and hopefully they don't forget about why they liked it, and they don't forget about the wine itself. Aligote, they call it the peasant wine of Burgundy, but Jed does a really good job with it. It's Washington fruit. So let's see if we can get it on the nose with this Albere. So I get a little bit of melon and some, almost a little cantaloupe coming through. Definitely peaches and a little bit of the peach pit. I get a little touch of like dusty, wet stone. Kind of like the ground smells out there today. It hasn't rained a lot, so you get that kind of that, you know, that fresh rain on the dusty rocks. Get a little hint of apricot coming through, and orange blossoms big time. So that's kind of the profile of Albarino, and you know, very good wine. Let's see what we get on the palate. So what I like about this wine is it's very fresh on the palate, good acidity. It isn't cutting acidity, it's just really fresh. I get like, I just bit into a really not super ripe peach, but a ripe peach. I get a little bit of that steely kind of wet stone thing going on. I get a little bit of lime coming through, just barely. A lot of melon. I get a lot of melon notes coming through on this. And that wet stone sort of steel, like I just licked, you know, a stainless steel barrel or something. Kind of has that kind of fresh peach, melon, apricot thing going on with a little bit of lime, with a twist of lime. Very good wine. Nice and fresh. You know, and I just... Being in the Pacific Northwest, the first thing that comes to my mind is shellfish. Being next to an airport, you can hear the airplanes coming down big time. Anyway, I get that really kind of nice shellfish wine. You know, mussels, clams, oysters, and you could even saute your clams in these. It would be great. I could see this with sushi big time, if that's your thing. Be great with chicken, actually. I could see this going with chicken really well. Even a little bit of tangerine element coming through on that. I like that wine, $15. And the minerality comes through right at the back end. And I just have to tell you, to be honest, there's a lot of people that will spend $15 on a Pinot Gris from Oregon. And I just think that this is a lot more interesting than those wines. I like those wines, don't get me wrong. I do like Pinot Gris from Oregon. But this is so much more going on with the steely kind of mineral thing, the acid, all of that. Long finish. I mean, this thing is hanging on. I get like white flowers on the finish. Like that wine a lot. I'm going to go B+ with that Albarino. Let's move on to the next one. I'm a little curious to see if there's any flavor profile differences in these wines. They're all from the Saulnaise Valley, as I mentioned. Just double checking that. Rias Baixas. Where does it say Saulnaise Valley? It said it somewhere on here. Yeah, heart of the Saulnaise Valley. So this is the Brigance Albarino 2013. See, the other one was a 13 also. There you go. And this is, and like the alcohol in these are crazy. This is like 12.5. I think the other one was without wasting a lot of time. Sometimes it's hard to find. I don't know if you guys ever have difficulty finding the alcohol percentage, but it should be right there, and I just do not see it. Oh yeah, there it is, 12%. So, you know, lower alcohol, which is great. You know, you're out having a picnic, you don't want to get hammered. Great wines. So, this rolls in also at $15. There you go. So have you found yourself experimenting with whites? Are you nervous about doing that? Do you have trouble expanding your palate when it comes to white wines? I know that, and I'm glad to see this, that people are gravitating away from I don't drink white wines, or I don't drink Chardonnay, because there's so much diversity in white wine. I mean, it's incredible the amount of different whites there are to try. In fact, I think there's more diversity even than reds in many cases. So let's see what we get on the nose. This one almost has a coconut element. I get melon. I get a little bit of coconut and some interesting like fir needles coming through. A little bit of bubble gum, which is I like. So this has a little different nose than the other one for sure, and I don't get the acidity so much on the nose with this one. I get some white peaches coming through big time. But that coconut meat thing coming through, and then that little bit of fir needle with white peaches and orange blossoms. Let's see what we get on the palate. Now, I know a lot of you are going to like this one just a hair more if you're into a little fuller bodied wine. This has a nice creamy mid palate. I like that with this wine compared to the other one. They're different approaches to it. A little creamier on the mid palate. Still has that steely kind of, like I licked on a piece of stainless steel. It has that element to it. Has a lot of like white peaches. I definitely get the white peaches coming through on the palate. A little bit of tangerine coming through. This is a cool wine because it's very fresh, very bright, but at the same time it has a nice creamy mid palate. So it has that kind of different element to it. I get that steely kind of wet stone thing on the backside. A lot of similarities in the two wines. This one just has that creamier mid palate, which I like. Both of them are very good quality Albarinos. I like them both a lot. This one would match up with some, like some fowl a little bit better than the other one, perhaps. Good salad wines too. If you're just having a salad, cucumber salad, carrots, peas, just spinach, be delicious with that. There's definitely a melon element coming through. Just a tiny hit of bubble gum on the back side of that one. I'm going to go B+ on that one too. I like it a lot. Both of them, I like them. And if you want to try an Albarino, both of these are great producers. I mean, I like both of these. I've never tried them before, but they're really appealing to me. And again, once again, you're thinking shellfish, sushi, salads, picnics, warm days, all of those things. Very interesting wines. A lot of complexity, a lot of things to think about while you're drinking it. It's even making my mouth water. Let's move on to the last one. All right. I was trying to think of some other whites that are really kind of taken off. The Aligote and the Pinot Blanc, I was really excited about the reaction of the tasters to those wines. They really dug it. I mean, they just got excited about it. I sold a ton of the Aligote, which was very, I love it. I just have to say I love it. I love Pinot Blanc too. If you haven't tried a Pinot Blanc lately, those are very good. And there's so many different styles in those wines. So like I said, expand your palate horizons when it comes to white. Albarino is one of those things you might want to look to. So this is Paco and Lola Albarino. And let's see if we get a vintage on 2013. This rolls in at $17. Let's get a little close up for you. Kind of a cool label, just kind of funky enough for maybe some millennials to give it a try. And I am excited about the millennials. They are really, really into trying new wines, and I'm very curious how the next generation will do in that regard. But the millennials are really good about experimenting, as long as they're values. These are all under $20, very good values. This is $17. Let's see what we get on the nose. Once and again, that kind of coconut meat, white peach thing going on. Get a little bit of a wet stone. Like kind of a blend of orange blossom and white flowers. And just a little bit of Myers lemon. And that Myers lemon is that sweeter style lemon. I'm getting a little bit in the background. Let's see what we get on the palate. Definitely bigger on the palate, like creamier. Still has that nice freshness on the backside. A lot more fruit. I get a lot of minerality right up front. A little bit of spritz action coming through. Yeah, just a tiny hit of a little bit on my tongue. I feel a little bit of bubbles on my tongue. Kind of cool. I'm getting melon, white peaches, orange blossoms, that Myers lemon just barely in the background. Now, going to Albarino, want spend a couple extra bucks. I think it might be worth it to go to the Paco and Lola just for the experience of the rounder. If you want a little leaner, I would go this way, but we got a nice little progression from, and I didn't even know this. I didn't even know. I just took a wild guess. A little bit leaner, a little bit fresher, get a little more creamy on the mid palate, and this one a little bigger style. Still, I wouldn't go Pinot Gris on no oak treatment on this at all. Nice long finish, nice fresh finish. Again, a little minerality showing on the back end. I get it. I love this wine. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm going to go A- on that Albarino. I think it is really well done. I'm liking them all. B+, A-, great wines. Remember to always experiment, and hopefully I'm helping you to be confident to try these wines. I don't think you need to be scared of these wines. There's nothing funky about them. They're very straightforward but complex, very fresh, very much summer-oriented wines. And, well, I would drink them in the wintertime. That's the way I roll. But just really nice wines. Great for shellfish, great for fowl, great for salads, great for sushi, all of those things. Remember, wine is not a mystery. It is just fermented grape juice. Drink it. Enjoy it. Be willing to try new things. Try an Albarino. Try it. But never, ever let anybody tell you what you should or shouldn't like. And if you do that, together, we can take the snob out of wine.